Alrighty. Well, hello, everyone. There's a story I like to tell that I'm going to tell you right now. It's from a movie called Powwow Highway that I really like. And in this movie, two young Native Americans are going on a quest. And they've decided to get a really nice sound system for their quest in this beat up old car, and it's way more than they can afford, but this is an important quest. And so they finally get in the car. They're sitting there in the dark. They want to start the music up. They go and they start pushing buttons and nothing happens. And one of the guys, he gets really frustrated and he starts pushing buttons and finally bangs on it and a piece breaks off and he's furious thinking they've been ripped off. So he goes in to the store to confront the manager. Meanwhile, the other fellow who's sitting there, a more quiet type, picks up the instruction manual and looks at it and pushes two buttons and voila, the car fills up with music. I love that scene. Hi, I'm Michelle Masters. I'm the creator of Money Magic, and I'm so happy to be here with you. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to create the money or the relationship or the health, for that matter, that you want in your life. Because we often live our life and money like the guy in that story. We're like randomly pushing buttons, getting frustrated when things won't work, pounded on the dashboard, because up until recently, there was no instruction manual. But this is what's so effective about Money Magic. It's part of the instruction manual for being human. So you're going to hear what creates money magic or love or health, and why you don't already have what you want. It's not because you're broken. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're stupid. If you don't have what you want already, it's because you've got unconscious blocks in the way. And I can guarantee you they're unconscious. If they were conscious, you would have changed them already. So what Money Magic does better than anything else I've found so far is it allows you to create more of what you want in your life without having to be different, without having to work hard or work harder, without having to struggle or feel guilty, without having to overcome, without having to hold yourself accountable. None of that is part of Money Magic. So I'll share as much as I can today, and then at the end, I'll also tell you how you can go deeper with this work if you'd like. And we'll do a little exploration of your beliefs that may be in the way. Time permitting, I'll also take you through an exploration piece around your sense of worth. We'll see how long and fast I talk. But just in case you're wondering if you're in the right place, so let me see if I can actually get the gods of technology to work here. See if they are smiling at us today. Okay. So this is for you if you're tired of struggling. It's also for you if you make money, but it comes at a price. The price of your health, the price of your time with your family, the price of your sanity. It's also for you if you often get close to having what you want and then something happens. So you get a bill, your relationship blows up, some unexpected expense, family gets upset. It's also for you if you just don't know how to make more money. So many people think they have to come up with the next big thing. They have to create something new, or they have to work super hard. They have to go out and crush their goals. They have to push themselves so hard. That's a lot of why people don't have the money they want, or have the blocks to money they want. So if those fit you, then this is probably for you. Let's see. Where were we here? It's not for you if you're looking for a marketing plan. I just actually got my first marketing plan, and trust me, I had to lay down for a while with a cool cloth on my head. It was quite traumatic. It's also not for you if you're looking for stock tips or investment advice, because I got nothing. And it's not for you if you are one of the undead and your neurology is like so last incarnation. Generally, as a workshop leader, I try to discourage the undead from coming to workshops, but when you're leading personal growth workshops, frankly, you never know who you're going to get. So no promises there. So these are some of the people that that Money Magic are not good for. So, first of all, what the heck is Money Magic? Money Magic is a fun, highly experiential 2-day workshop that revises and transforms unconscious blocks to money and success. The blocks to what you want are unconscious, or you would have changed them. So, for example, Lee Bundy, wonderful guy. Some of you in Australia may know him, or some of you around the world may know him. He came to our first Australian Money Magic workshop, and then a few days later, he also came to our relationship workshop. It's a course called Clear Path to Love. As we were getting ready to start the relationship course, Lee told us that in the 3 days since Money Magic, $25,000 worth of business had just walked in the door. He said, that never happens. I always have to go out and look for it. This just showed up, is what he said, word for word. How did that happen in just 3 days? Another woman, she told me that a woman named Julia, she always gets a quarterly disbursement. And it's been years, and it's always $3,000. The next disbursement she got after Money Magic was not $3,000, it was $15,000. No explanation? $15,000, 5 times as much. These, even though that seems kind of odd, these stories I hear all the time from people who come to Money Magic. Things happen in ways they cannot logically track because their unconscious beliefs around money have shifted. And when the unconscious beliefs shift, reality shifts. If you want to know more about how beliefs actually filter and create our reality, hang on. Here you can, where are we? Let's see. You can check out, you can check out my YouTube channel, Michelle Masters NLP. There's a video on there called Beliefs in the Reticular Activating System. You can spend some time, and it's not a long video, but you can actually hear how your beliefs filter your experience of your reality. Not just color it, but limit and filter what you experience. So, pardon me. So why don't you have the money or success that you want? What are the blocks that are stopping you from having money or success or even love and health? Because it all comes down to the same things, and we'll talk about what those are. And thirdly, we'll talk about how to create money or anything in your life, including the very first thing you need to do, which I'll tell you about today. But just so you know who I am, I didn't just wander in, well, I did wander in off the street, but I'm an NLP trainer and master practitioner for over 20 years from the renowned NLP Marin. I've been teaching for 20 years, and it's incredibly lovely work. I'm so blessed and so happy to get to do it, and it keeps getting better. But when I was younger, I had a bit of a problem. I had an achievement problem. I had an achievement problem the way that some people have a drinking problem, and for pretty much the same reasons. So let me see if I can show you. Whoops. Here we go. This was me, and an unhappy camper I was. I thought that the only way I had any sense of worth was if I could achieve. And so I achieved as much as I could. There wasn't enough trophies, though. There wasn't enough scholarships. There weren't enough awards or honors to actually let me feel like I had a real sense of worth, a real sense of self. And so I kind of wandered in the wilderness for a while, and I mean that both literally as well as figuratively. Wandered for quite a while until I happened on an NLP Marin free workshop. And that made a huge difference for me. I met a true angel, Carl Buchheit. Let me show you Carl, my buddy Carl Buchheit. That's my buddy Carl Buchheit. He did an amazing amount of work with me and allowed me to start to have a genuine sense of self. It revised so much of the patterns that were in the way. So I'm now somewhere, I've been with NLP Marin since I think 1994. And somewhere along the way in 2006, I was asked to create a 2-day workshop around money. Now, at the time, if you knew me, that was a little like asking Donald Trump to create a workshop on humility. It wasn't a no-brainer because I had no relationship to money. But what I did know was how people get stuck and how you can create change for people. So I created a workshop that was all about changing the patterns, changing the beliefs, changing the unconscious patterns. And then I added in some other techniques, some quantum ways of working, which made it even more powerful. At first, it was just NLP, and people would take the workshop and they'd go through the workshop, and afterwards things would integrate and evolve, and changes would show up later. When I started adding in this more quantum way of working, things would start shifting before the workshop. Quite often someone would register and the next day they'd get a check in the mail. So there are some specific ways that people get stuck, and especially around money. And so this was designed to unstick people. And a little while later, we'll do an exercise together so you can experience some of why this is so profound, at least what I think is profound. When I first designed this workshop, I tried everything out on me just to make sure it wouldn't cause any unwanted explosions or bloating. And the next time I went to do the workshop, I noticed my income had gone up 66% and stayed up. And it's gone up every year. Even in 2008, the GFC, which my clients tell me stands for Global Financial Crisis, but I think should probably stand for Global Cluster Fiasco. Anyway, because my beliefs shifted, it didn't so much matter what was going on in the outside world. And then recently, as I've begun to teach from this more blissful place, the trajectory's been even more like that. And so many people are stuck and struggle, and they tend to blame themselves. They tend to think, I'm lazy, I'm not working hard enough, I'm incompetent, I'm not deserving, or they blame other people. Oh, it's the government, it's corporations. But either way, they're not getting to have what they want. And whether people are blaming themselves or blaming someone else, it's a lot of wear and tear on their hearts, their minds, their bodies, their families, their relationships. More couples fight about money than anything else. It's a cause for so much stress. And so changing how much money you have or make is not about working harder or working more. We all know people who work really hard and still don't have any money. And we all know people who, frankly, aren't working that hard and do have a lot of money. I can't tell you how many people who've taken Money Magic use the exact same phrase when they tell me about something that happened. They tell me with surprise. They don't feel like they've done anything differently. But out of the blue, this offer came in. Out of the blue, somebody called me. Or they don't even realize until they do their taxes that their income has doubled or tripled, because it doesn't feel like they've done anything different, but their money has doubled or tripled, or in some cases, gone up even more than that. It's not about inventing the next big thing, the next big idea. The next big thing is a lot of work. It's actually much easier than that. But to understand how it happens, it's helpful to first understand how we keep ourselves stuck or struggling or working hard, so that you can realize it's really not because you're broken or lazy or stupid that you don't have what you want. And that applies not just to money, but relationship blocks, health issues. So we'll start with biology, and we'll get a little more woo-woo as we go. But the most important things we believe about ourselves and about the world, about love and money, those are all in place by the ages of 3 to 6. We don't get new beliefs after that. So when we're young, we experience things. We make associations, and then those associations become our template for reality. Those associations become held in our neurology. They become patterns, and at that point, they're automatic. So if we grow up with struggle around money, or anything, money's hard to come by, or money causes problems, money requires sacrifice, those are the associations we have, and then our system bases its beliefs right down at the level of your neurology on that. These become associations which become automatic neurological patterns. In a few minutes, we're going to do an exercise to find out what some of your automatic patterns are, so you might want to find a pen and something to write on. The good news is you can change your unconscious beliefs so that new and improved beliefs and filters are running automatically. When this happens, our lives start to be different automatically. In the same way that we created struggle or blocks automatically before, it just gets easier now. It's truly like rewriting your mental software. Once you rewrite a program, a software program, it runs differently. Once you rewrite or rewire your mental software, our thoughts and feelings and reactions and reality are different without us having to try to make it different. And when our thoughts and patterns are revised, we observe the world differently and the world responds differently. In fact, the world is different. As far as science can tell, there may not be truly an objective reality. And I see this all the time on an experiential level. There used to be a store called Circuit City where I'd go to fulfill my technology needs because there's no greater joy than buying technology. And so I would always go there. It was always a good experience. I had a friend who needed something. She wanted to buy, I think, a CD player. And I said, well, let's go to Circuit City. She said, oh, no, it's terrible there. There's no service. It's awful. I said, no, really. I go there a lot. It's fine. So we went. And for the first time ever, we walked in, not a salesperson in sight. We could have walked out with half the merchandise, actually. There was nobody around. And when we finally did find somebody, they were surly and not helpful, and we left. And I thought, that is so strange. Like, that is so not been my experience. So the next time I needed something, I thought, well, should I go there? But I did. I went back, and somebody was right there. They helped me. I got what I needed. It was perfect. She had her Circuit City experience, and I had mine. We seem to live in the same world, but in reality, we were living in different worlds, and all of us live in different worlds. A lot has been talked lately about the law of attraction and the spiritual principles of creating, and we agree with all of it. The place where most people get stuck is in not knowing how to create or think differently, how to change old beliefs and patterns. They try for a while to do it consciously. They focus really hard. They try and mentally make themselves think happy thoughts, but they're still stuck. It's slow to change because they're having to manually try to override their unconscious beliefs and worldview. And that's frankly a lot of work. Trying to do that is like trying to not move your leg when the doctor hits you, that reflex spot with that little hammer. It's an automatic reflex. The beliefs that are in the way are automatic reflexes, and it's hard to stop them. So this is what the change patterns in money magic are so invaluable for doing. These change patterns begin to revise the unconscious patterns in the way of people having and creating what they want. And when those patterns change, people have a different experience. Without willpower, without struggle, without pushing past their limits, it's just different. Now, I know there's a lot of courses out there that promise financial success. I haven't been to any, but I know they're there. Almost all of them focus on information and behavior. They give people a ton of information and then they tell them what they should do. Even the workshops that do focus on belief tend to focus on consciously believing something else. But so little of what we're running is conscious. Consciously, we're paying attention to anywhere from 5 to 9 things at any given moment. Unconsciously, we're paying attention to upwards of 2 million. So trying to consciously override unconscious belief structure is like standing next to a fire hose gushing ice cold water with an eyedropper of hot water trying to warm that water up, drop by drop. There are so many people with all the information, even sometimes who do the right things or focus on positive thoughts, but nothing changes or it doesn't change for long. The thing that keeps us really stuck are almost never information or behavior. So I know it's a leap of faith that you're even listening this far, but if you don't have what you already want, it's almost never a lack of information or motivation. And an easy metaphor to help understand this is the one I used before, the one about software. If you have software that keeps creating problems for you, learning a bunch of new information does not rewrite the software. Getting yourself motivated or pumped up does not rewrite the software. Neither does shaming yourself or holding yourself accountable. You just end up yelling either at the computer or yourself. neither of which works. I know, I've done it a lot. Human brains operate a lot like computers. In fact, we kind of designed them in our own image. And so nothing changes until you rewrite the software. But once you rewrite that software, that patterning, then it's different. Different program, different result. So you don't have to jump up and down. You don't have to do affirmations and create accountability. When you've rewritten the software, you're running a different program and you're getting different results in ways that you can't always even imagine. I recently called someone to get some contact information who had recently come to Money Magic. And I said, oh, I hope life's doing well for you. And she said, oh my God, so amazing. And in large part, well, she said thanks to you, but it was actually thanks to the Money Magic class. I didn't change her life. The techniques in that workshop changed it because they revised her patterning. So another person who came to the online Money Magic, he had an IRA account, an investment account, and he showed me the graph. It went up and down like $3 every month. It had never really changed. He didn't touch it. He didn't do anything with it. And so it was pretty much always the same. He showed me the bar graph. The month he took Money Magic, the next time he got a statement, his investment account, which he didn't touch, he didn't do anything with it, it had tripled. I've had people who have banks contact them from accounts they've closed saying, oh, there's $2,000 in this account that you've closed. It's amazing what happens. Some of it's very straightforward. People get business, they get raises, they get new contracts. Some of it comes about in ways that defy our understanding. But here, let's do this. Let's take you through a little exercise to find out what some of your unconscious beliefs are around money. Now, I'm going to read you some phrases. I actually don't know where these phrases came from originally. I got them from Peggy O'Neill when we were co-leading a workshop in the mid-90s, and we used them there. But I don't know where they came from originally. So let's find these. Hold on one moment, please. Okay, whoops. So if you have a pen and paper, we're going to have you just answer these questions. Just fill in like the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't think about it a lot, but just kind of your instant response. So let's go. So people with money are what? Money makes people I'd have more money if my father thought money was my mother thought money was in my family, money equals if I could afford it, money is money causes I'd be more in order to be more successful, I'd need to having money is not in order to have more money, I'd need to success always I deserve I don't deserve people deserve to have more money if Whoops. I think we have to go back. So notice what your experience was. Did any of those responses surprise you? Because one of the core beliefs that shows up the most for people is around worth. We think we have to work hard to deserve good things. We think we have to be super smart, super talented, have something that proves our worth. Worth shows up the most for people in money and their relationships. This is why we let ourselves have what we think we deserve and no more. And this is why so many lottery winners, within a year, they're right back where they were financially before. They blow their life up in one way or another. In Britain, they call them lottery louts. So let's try an experiment, just a little experiment around worth here. Take a moment and picture the infinite worth that you came from. This is just an experiment. Hold on. Picture the infinite worth that you came from. Like, watch from the outside the version of you before you came into physical form. And then watch yourself come into physical form in the womb. And watch yourself start to grow and develop. When does the experience of your worth start to diminish? We usually come in with this infinite sense. Does it change as soon as you come in? Or in utero? Or a few years after? When does it start to change? And does it change all at once? Or gradually? How does that change how you started to relate to life and the things you wanted? And how did it start to change how you related to people and the world and yourself? Imagine if we could reset the factory settings, if we could reset your worth back to the infinite, and you could experience yourself as infinitely worthy and watch yourself grow up that way. How different would life be? Your relationship, your work, your money, your health, how different would life be? And the most infinite experience that you can have of your worth is just a fraction of your actual worth. Sometimes people think they have to do great things and change the world to prove their worth and deserve money and good things. But honestly, if you begin to experience your actual worth, you contribute immeasurably to the world. And then you make more money and love flows better and your health improves, etc. Now, discovering what you think you're worth and then finding out what your actual worth is can be life-changing in and of itself. And that's just some of what we do at Money Magic to anchor these changes into people's lives. We get clear on what you want and why you want it and why that's so important, so that your internal GPS can only work if it knows where you want to go. And it's through our wants and desires that we reach out to life. It's a huge part of engaging with the world and participating in life. We also find out how beliefs and patterns get formed so that you know you're not broken, lazy, or stupid. If you don't have what you want yet, there's a reason. And we uncover a whole lot of hidden beliefs that are in the way. It's not usually the beliefs actually that you're aware of that are causing the trouble. It's usually the ones you don't even know are there. You may have noticed that in the exercise we did. The ones that we don't even know are there are the ones that are, it's just the way life is. And we revise patterns from the past that have created the current blocks. We revise people's sense of, do an exercise to help start revising that sense of worth. Because as you may have noticed, this is huge. It's one of the most important things I think we do in the class. We also discover what people's unconscious relationship to money is and revise it. This was life-changing for me, and actually I still repeat this exercise a couple of times a year. We have a similar exercise in Clear Path to Love workshop because it's so important. And then we integrate a lot of the unconscious aspects of consciousness, because this is where most of our experience is generated. Like I said, consciously, you're doing 5 to 9 things at a time, but unconsciously, there's more than 2 million things going on. When you start to get those unconscious parts working for you, well, you do the math. That's an amazing shift when those start to happen. And we create automatic patterns for dealing with roadblocks and obstacles that come up, because in life there's always detours, but they don't have to keep you from going where you want to go. There's quantum work involved in this that I do, which is kind of fun. And then there's a whole bunch of integration and reinforcement of the change. And that's how some of our students have created Money Magic. I've been doing this since 2006, and honestly, it only gets better. I hope this has been useful for you. Some of you will be satisfied with what you've learned and experienced today, and I hope it was helpful. And some of you may want to go deeper. So I want to tell you how to turn what you've learned today into a lifelong, lasting transformation, into permanent change. And to do that, we want to invite you to the next Money Magic, because this is where you can change those patterns and belief that are creating your life. People ask me all the time, well, how can I change my beliefs? Well, I can teach you how to change your beliefs, but it takes about 2 years. So we can do that, or you can come to the workshop and we can change them in the course of a weekend. It's a lot faster to go through these processes than to try to learn how to change your own beliefs. And we can revise the patterns that are in the way. We had a woman come who, after Money Magic, her income didn't just double. It didn't go up 100%. It didn't go up 200%. It went 1,200%. That's actually not that uncommon. I have some people who take the workshop every time I give it, because every time they do it, their income goes up. One woman said, every time I take the class, my income doubles. One of the only downsides, actually, of the course is that the change is so seamless. Sometimes people don't realize anything has changed until they do their taxes. But I've actually seen Facebook posts from a lot of last year's participants celebrating that they just had their best year ever. People tell me all the time that when they went to do their taxes or they got their financials, they were just stunned. They had no idea their income had gotten so high. And they all often don't feel like they have done anything differently. So, and for some incentive, because it's always nice to have incentive. For the first 10 people to sign up for Money Magic, we'll send you a link for a bonus change piece that you can do right away to start preparing your unconscious to create more and more of what you want automatically. Last year, Patty listened to it and got a new prospect within an hour just from listening to that bonus change piece. But first, let me answer the most common questions. What if I can't afford it? This is often why people want Money Magic. And I won't tell you to take something if you think you can't afford it. That would be unconscionable. But if you think you can't afford it, then I promise you, you have beliefs and patterns that are limiting your experience or your life. And so if you don't do it with us, I hope you get those beliefs revised with somebody. I was once asked, okay, what's the cost of the course, and then what's the value? And someone, and I said, well, this guy took the class because he wanted to have more time with his family, and that happened. He didn't feel like he was doing anything else differently, but all of a sudden he was making the same money and having time with his kids. And I said, what's the value of that? And somebody said, priceless. And I said, we say that, but it's not. We do put a price on our time with our family. We do put a price on our health. We put a price on our happiness, not because we're bad people, but because we think there are limits on what we can do and have. And those are costing us a lot. And if money's really an issue and you don't think you can attend, but you want to, here's an experiment you can try. It requires a little effort, but it's free. Just once a day or so, say, I'd like to attend Money Magic, or Clear Path, or whatever. That's it. Just, I'd like to attend. Don't add, but I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I don't know how. Just simply, I'd like to attend once a day, and then forget about it and see what happens. When you do that, money often shows up in unexpected ways. We have, actually, at the last workshop, we had several people that did that, and money showed up. So, there's a lot more I could tell you. But one of the things I wanted to say is that you've probably learned everything you need to from your current patterns. There's really no value in continuing them unless they're giving you what you want. It might be time to create your life from present time, from conscious choice, instead of from the circumstances and associations you were born into. It takes no more energy to create wealth and abundance and opportunities than it does to create struggle, limitation, and blocks. Just like if you're running a slide projector, it takes no more energy to project a beautiful image than it does a dark one. It's just a question of what slides in the projector. If you look at your life, what you call reality, that is what your world, that's what you believe. That's what's in your slide projector. Exactly what's showing up in your life, that's what's in your slide projector. And most of the slides in your projector, you're not even aware are there. Is the world a dangerous place? Is money hard to get or come by? Do you have to work hard to get it? Do you think if you get what you want, something bad might happen to you, or to somebody? You can decide that you want to think happier, more abundant thoughts, but if your unconscious is running millions of automatic beliefs, it's a full-time job trying to overcome your own internal software, and it almost never works. I was working today with a Muslim client of mine, and she realized she felt closest to God when she was doing things that made her happy. And you know what? I believe that's true for all of us. When we reach for what we want, we reach out to life. And when we're the most happy and engaged in life, that's when we're the most close to the infinite. Life can be really good for us. You weren't meant to come here and live a frustrated or half-hearted life. We were meant to create our lives and create them beautifully. We're designed for it. So if you're a practical, sciencey type, this is mental engineering at its best. If you're a woo-woo spiritual type, this is also mystical transformation and aligning more with the source of all possibilities. So you can come for the money, you can come for the possibilities, you can come for the joy, or you can come for it all. We do hope, though, that you'll come. Because the better it gets for each of us, the better it gets for all of us. So thank you, and we hope to see you soon. So I'm going to stop. Actually, we've got a few minutes left. In a minute, I'm going to stop the recording.